You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to giving you the inside scoop on what's happening on the lakes and waterways of our region, with a primary focus on Sam Rayburn and Toledo Bend. Your host, V&M Baits General Manager Kevin Jean and Camus Boats Pro Staffer Steve Graff. Two guys with years of tournament experience with Pro-Am circuits like ABA, BFLs, Toyota Series, and BASS Opens. Anglers willing to share their knowledge and to give you inside information to make you a better angler. So get ready to take some notes and learn exactly how anglers are catching the big stringers right here on Tackle Talk Live. Here are your hosts, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
Welcome to Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to helping you become a better fisherman, and our primary focus is usually on Toledo and Sam Rayburn, but we will venture out once in a while to Lake Fork and different places. But this week, we're going to focus on Sam Rayburn and Toledo Bend, and I'm Camus Boats, Iowa Pro Staffer Steve Graff, along with the former man that needs no introduction. Everybody knows this man worldwide. He is known as the man who has put. He is the former president of V&M Baits. Mr. Welcome, Kevin. How you doing, bud?
Doing good, Steve. Doing good. I appreciate the introduction. Former president of V&M Baits. Sounds funny. I've been doing it for 9.5 years, Steve, and it is. I still get up every morning and trying to figure out what to do to sell some V&M stuff, and then it hits me. I'm not doing that any longer. You know, and it's a decision I come to on my own. You know, it's mostly on my own. It's, I've been doing it for 9.5 years. There's a new set of owners that's taken over V&M, and it's time. It's time for me to step aside and let them take this company over. It's their company now, and they need to run it how they want to run it. And I've thought long and hard about this for several weeks now. I've been praying hard about it. And I just felt like it was time. I've done what I could do with it. It's got new owners, and they need to put their stamp on the company. They need to, as I felt I did, they need to put their stamp saying, this is what V&M is going to be now, and they need to be able to do that. So that's where we're at.
Do you feel good about the new ownership? Do you feel like these guys are going to take it, they're going to run with it and continue to do what you and couple other guys did with it before y'all let it go? Do you feel good about the new ownership?
I do. And Steve, it's one of those things. It was good for everybody. The owners that I had when I had it and that I worked for, man, when we took this thing over, it was not as big. V&M was not as big of a brand, and over the years, we were fortunate enough to grow V&M to a nationwide brand. We were in Bass Pro, we were in Academy, we were in Walmart, and selling well. And when the option to come up to be able to sell it this spring, back in February, when people came to us wanting to buy, it's just one of them opportunities my owners couldn't turn down. Yeah. These new owners own their own manufacturing facility in West Monroe. They will be manufacturing all the soft plastics and all of the lead in-house right there in West Monroe. So they're off to a huge advantage right there.
Yeah. Well, Kevin, one of the keys to being a great bait company and being president of a company like V&M Baits is having a good staff of guys to help with bait design and new product, because we both know if you're not being creative year in and year out, coming up with new product, you're on the sale rack tomorrow. I mean, you're the hot item today, you're on the sale rack tomorrow. And is the new ownership going to be as creative, and do they have the pro staff available to continue to be innovative and create new product?
I mean, Steve, they have the pro staff, they have the guys. Now, again, when I say they have to put their stamp on this company, there's a lot of different ways to run a bait company. There's a lot of different ways to push sales, whether it's in how you do marketing. I chose to do what you just said. That's the direction I went. I leaned hard on my pro staff, and now what direction they're still trying to figure that out, Steve. What direction they go, I can't answer that for them. I don't really know what that is. I mean, they just took it over. I think they're trying to still get their hands or their head around it here and decide how they want to put their stamp on this thing and what direction they want to take it. And that's a decision for them to make. Again, I just felt like it was time for me. Now new owners, it's just they have to do it their way. And I've done it my way for 9.5 years. They have to do it their way. Now, what their way is still yet to be determined. But like I said, they have a huge advantage of being able to manufacture in-house right there under their nose.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. Well, as we continue, Kevin and I, of course, we're going to stay on for the next at least month. Each week we'll be coming to you, and we're covering championship season as it's that time of year. And in just a minute, matter of fact, he just gave me a call. We're going to have
me too.
Yeah, Kevin Lasyone is going to be on. We're going to wrap up the Brandon Belt Championship on Choke Canyon with Kevin. He was a member of the third place team of Lasyone and Randy Despino. We all know Randy, great angler, and so in his own right, but one of the better teams. And got Kevin coming on to give us some details. And also today, there's more releases on new schedules for 2024, including the Toyota Series and the Bassmaster High School and college schedules. I've got that for everybody. And so we'll go over those real quick. And so we got all this and much more today on Toledo Bend, Sam Rayburn fishing. Kevin's going to give us a little fishing report as well. And it's just a lot going on as we head into the fall. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to have pro angler Kevin Lasyone will join us and talk about the Choke Canyon Brandon Belt Championship. You're watching Tackle Talk Live.
Toledo Health is a full-service primary and acute care clinic. Nurse practitioners Jarrett Rule and Melissa Vines bring quality health care that's needed and convenient to the area. Whether it's a stomach virus or a hook in your hand, Toledo Healthcare will try and meet all your health care needs. Appointments available and walk-ins are always welcome. So the next time you're feeling down at Toledo Bend, stop by Toledo Healthcare, located on Highway 6, just south of Toledo Town, or you can call 318-508-5323. For all your boating needs, check out Shreveport's newest marine dealer, The Boat Shop. Raymond Kidd and his great staff will take care of all your engine repair needs or anything else that needs fixing. A certified Yamaha Mercury dealer, they carry two of the best fishing boats on the market from Sea Arc and Camus. The Boat Shop is never short on trade-ins as they're always willing and able to make you the best deal possible. Looking for great boat accessories? They're a full support Garmin and Minn Kota dealer. So the next time you're in the market for a new or used boat, or maybe you just need to service the boat you have, let the Boat Shop fix you up. To learn more, call 318-402-0399 or go to ShreveportBoatShop.com. The next time you're on I-49 just south of Natchitoches, Louisiana, stop by Cypress Knee Outdoors. A store within a store, Cypress Knee is located inside 3J's four-way. Whether you need gas, food, or drinks, they have it. While you're there, check out Cypress Knee Outdoors and pick up whatever hunting or fishing tackle you need. Top name brands like Strike King, Santone, Spro, or the #1 soft plastics made, V&M. On the hunting side, they carry guns from Mossberg, Winchester, and Remington. Plus, they've got a great supply of ammunition. Let John Abram and his staff show you everything Cypress Knee has to offer. Located just 1 mile east of 127 on I-49 or call 318-238-HUNT. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
This is Tackle Talk Live. Thank you for tuning us in today. This segment presented by Toledo Health, the Boat Shop of Shreveport, 3J's four-way home of Cypress Knee Outdoors, coming up I-49, looking for some baits. Maybe your favorite tackle store doesn't have what you need. I'll promise you, John Abraham and the guys at Cypress Knee Outdoors will have what you need, including the entire line of V&M product. Just a great outlet for V&M. And John Abraham's got every top name brand you can ask for. And all you hunters, he got deer feeders, they got deer stands, they got climbers, you name it, they got ammunition, got everything a hunter or fisherman would ever need. Cypress in the Outdoors, located right there inside 3J's four-way, off as be exit 127 off I-49. So on the Tackle Talk Live hotline, we've got a man that I have the most respect for, a guy that when I fished FLW Tour as a co-angler, Kevin was fishing the pro side, and I was his practice buddy, and I love fishing with Kevin. He's a great angler, and but him and Randy Despino just finished third on the Brandon Belt Championship last week on Choke Canyon. And Kevin, hey man, welcome to the program, and glad to have you. And congratulations to you and Randy, man. Good job.
I appreciate that, and I'm happy to be here.
Lasyone, real quick, Choke Canyon. I mean, you're well known everywhere, but Toledo Bend, Sam Rayburn, Red River especially, everybody knows when they go to that water, they got to contend with Randy Despino, Kevin Lasyone. Choke Canyon, I'm sure you have been there, but how many times have you ever been to Choke Canyon before?
This past week was the second time I'd been there. I had went in 06 or 07, and it probably had 25 to 27 more foot of water on it. And where I'd caught them in 06 or 07, earlier, it was dry ground.
Right.
I mean, way up on the bank. But I mean, we actually caught the fish close to a spot that I had caught them in 06 and 07 football jigs.
Okay. All right. So
now, to set up, let's just set Choke Canyon up real quick so people can get a visual, especially a lot of the anglers that watch the program. Texoma, Choke Canyon, very similar, right? A lot of rock.
Very similar. It just had some hydrilla along the banks, but it wasn't deep enough to flip. And it brought the lake down to where you didn't have like 25% of the lake that you could actual fish in water. It had it's got a lot of sand and timber in it. And I felt like we could have caught them in the stand that some guys did, but we didn't, we didn't choose to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So being you haven't been there in that long, Lasyone, it's, practice was really key. Kind of take us through practice and, what you guys did and, you located your fish and how you located your fish. Just take us through practice here.
Well, I mean, I had some coordinates from years back, and I got some coordinates from a guy that, the lake actually had a little more water with it. But, I mean, the fish were in the same areas that I'd caught them previously. The one area, the deep area for sure, and go down there, and 10 o'clock in the morning, I get about 5 bites and sat around there for a while. Then I went shallow, in which everybody was going down the grass lines. And we figured out about 5 stretches you could catch them going down the bank. And actually, the one spot had them deep. That's actually all we found out of about 15 or 16 spots deep. And it wasn't, we didn't see them on the depth finder. I just caught one big one out there. And had the bites the first day. And we just decided to set up there the second day, and they pulled up meat, and we caught them.
So
is that a typical Kevin Lasyone pull up and catch them in 30 minutes, or is it you sit there all day?
Well, I mean, we actually caught a couple that second day early, and we went shallow. And I told Randy, I said, the best bet is go back out deep, and hopefully they'll pull up and eat. And it took about an hour and a half. I mean, you'd get bites. A couple times, I got bites, or we got bites back to back. But for the most part, it's an hour and a half, 2 hours. So about, I'd say, 11:45 to 2 o'clock, about 2.5 hours they bit. And I'd actually give up and sat down and told Randy, let's go at 2 o'clock. And he wound up catching one more big one, while I was sitting on the front deck. It was like 107 degrees, super hot.
Yeah.
Burning up, drinking all the water, water after water after water. And just seemed like you couldn't get enough liquids in your body. And, anyway. And then I told him the third day, I said, we got one chance of winning this thing or making a good showing. And we went and camped there the second day all day long and had 6 bites and landed 5 fish.
Oh, wow.
Kevin, did you have trouble keeping your fish alive in that kind of temperature? I mean, we all know that it's a babysitting job, basically, once you catch them, especially if you catch them early, isn't it?
Right. When we started, both mornings we stopped and we put 2 to 3 bags of ice in each live well, closed it off, and when we got to the lake, we filled them up one time and put the rejuvenate in there, and that didn't change it all day. And I mean, it was cool water. The water temperature was actually 85. I mean, like the first couple of days we were there, but it heated up, to above 90 after that.
Yeah.
But that's all we do is just put the ice in there to start with, put the stuff in there, and just have the recirculator going. Never put no more fresh water in it.
Yeah. So you didn't lose any fish the whole time then, huh?
No, we didn't lose any fish.
Wow.
Didn't lose any fish, and I mean, we're very fortunate on that.
Yeah.
So a deep spot, one spot in 2 days of fishing. Did you do all your damage on a jig, a worm, crankbait? How'd you guys catch them?
Well, we wound up, I caught a big one and had the bites that I had the first day on a big worm, the J-Mag worm, Texas Smoke.
Yeah.
And it had so many people, it was like a train. We would leave, somebody else would pull up, or I would leave, somebody else would pull up. You know, I mean, if people were jumping from spot to spot, round and around and around, every day of practice. And I told Randy, I said, we just need to downsize. So we downsized to a 1/2 ounce finesse jig, tungsten finesse jig, real tiny jig, real tiny trailer, 20-pound line, and caught most of the fish 18 to 20 foot deep. I don't think it was very many people fishing quite that deep.
Wow.
And they were on a rock pile, and a few of the fish we caught in the same area, there were some isolated stumps down there, and they come off of those isolated stumps.
Wow, a 1/2 ounce tungsten jig in 20 foot of water.
Yeah, now
you downsized.
Kevin, that's downsizing. I mean, he's downsized to a 1/2 ounce.
Well,
downsized to a 1/2 ounce. Well, I mean, I'm throwing it on 20-pound line, and I made sure Randy threw 20-pound line because you hook one, you don't want him to break off. I mean, it was stumps that they could get wrapped around and all, and you're dragging it through rocks. So you want 20-pound line.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just a slow, tedious fishing, and I mean, you crawl it over a rock, and when it would fall off the deeper side of the rock, that's when they would eat it.
Yeah.
Kevin, I want to get your perspective too. The Brandon Belt overall, the whole circuit. I mean, it was the hot thing this year. A lot of guys would be even hotter next year because of the positive exposure it got this year. Your review of the Brandon Belt Championship Series, the show circuit.
It's professionally run. Them guys know what they're doing. And I mean, I love it. We plan to fish the whole deal this next year. Fish all the tournaments.
Well, I guess you are the championships on Toledo Bend. Get out of here.
Well, that wouldn't be the only reason.
Okay.
That would be the main reason.
Well, I mean, that is a good reason. That is a good reason. And it's in July, and I don't know, we seem to do good in the summertime over there.
Yeah. What'd y'all weigh in 2 days this past July?
54 pounds something.
Yeah, y'all seem to do okay.
Yeah, Kevin, Gene, they're good. Let's see, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. They're pretty much good year round over there. It don't matter what month it is. But anyway, Kevin, you've been on Toledo lately. Give us a report if you've been on Toledo Bend.
I hadn't been lately other than fishing a couple of the night deals, and the fish stayed there for another 2 to 3 weeks, and then I'm assuming the fish were still there, but it was just harder to get them to bite. We won a couple night deals out there, evening dog fights and night deals, and they were still there. And anyway, I think they may have picked up since then, but I hadn't been. After the Brandon Belt, I think we fished like 3 weekends in a row, and either me or Caleb, them boys, caught them off the same spots. They were there for like 3 weeks in a row.
Given there are a lot of people missing that night fishing on Toledo Bend, I know it's not a secret. A lot of guys are, and it's really one of the best times to go in the summertime. Are people missing out on some really good fishing?
They missing out on some really good fishing at night. It's amazing. You can go to spots you're going to daytime, not get bit, and go out there at night, and you'll be surprised at what you'll catch. It will surprise you. It will surprise you.
I know you've seen some of the schedules for 2024, and Toledo Bend. I mean, I'm not talking about the Bass Pro Tour Series and Elite Series, which they both got here, but man, they have got some really, really good tournaments. I don't know how you're going to get any work done in 2024 because the Toyota, the Texas Team Trail Championships Toledo Bend, the Brandon Belt Championships Toledo Bend. I mean, we got some tournaments coming up on Toledo Bend in 2024. We can go down the line. We complained a little bit last year, and I complained right here on this show about this time last year that Toledo Bend wasn't getting any love from any of the tournament circuits. And man, this year we got them. We got them coming to our home lake. I know you're excited about that. Give me your thoughts on Toledo Bend and kind of where it's at fishing wise, like from years past. We've had, Toledo Bend's been a roller coaster the past several years. Fishing's been really tough, but man, this year it has showed out. What's your thoughts on Toledo Bend going forward with 2024? We got some grass growing, looking really good. I'm thinking it's still on the incline. I think we're still going to get another really good year of fishing coming up for 2024. What's your thoughts?
I feel the same way. We hadn't had much publicity, and they bringing the tournaments there. It's going to show out really well this year. It is going to show out really well. They hadn't fooled with the water level much, and that's I think one of the key things is it's just gradually come down on its own. They hadn't pulled the water really hard. And I think we had a really good spawn. Water stayed up pretty good. The fish was able to get up in the bushes and spawn. And, that's going to help a couple of years down the road. I mean, I'm thinking that with them holding the level as stable as they did, it's let the fish grow pretty good.
Yeah. And allowed the grass to keep growing.
Right. And I hadn't been to the grass fish and fished down in the grass, but I know tons of guys that have, and they're catching them now down there, from what I hear, catch 35, 40 off the grass points. Not in the grass, but, on the points, feeding,
Yeah.
Good deal.
All right, Kevin, man, we appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming on and giving us some detail. Again, congratulations, you and Randy. Great job by both of y'all, and coming in third at that Brandon Belt. That's got to be a huge circuit, and just going to get bigger and better. And I look for you guys to be right there, especially with the championship being on your home water, basically this coming July. And but anyway, thank you, man. Take care of your business, and I'll talk to you in the next week or so.
All right, thanks.
All right, Kevin Lasyone, former FLW pro, and Kevin, he's just one of those guys that there's the forward-facing sonar guys, and then there's Kevin Lasyone.
Yeah.
He's just an instinctive guy, a natural fisherman that just knows how to catch fish, and I've always just been impressed. I know when I fished with him as a co-angler on the FLW tour, as a practice guy with him, weekend tournament in, tournament out. I just really got to know Kevin and his techniques and his methods and what he does. And back then, he was a big jig guy. I mean, he loved to jig. And now he's still a jig guy, but he's more versatile than people give him credit for. There's things Kevin won't always tell you that he's doing. And sometimes you have to open his rod locker to see what he's really doing, because the ones on deck may not be what he's actually doing. But anyway.
Well, he's one of those guys, Steve, and there's about 10 of them. And of all the guys that fish Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn, there's about 10 guys. When you pull up to both lakes, you go, you got to beat Kevin Lasyone.
Yep.
And when I say both lakes, now there's a group of those guys that are Toledo Bend. There's a group of guys that are Sam Rayburn.
Yep.
When Kevin pulls up to the boat ramp on Toledo Bend or Sam Rayburn, you better catch him today, and you got to beat Kevin Lasyone, because he's gonna catch him. Yep. And you said a mouthful, instinctful. Steve, yes. I've been fortunate enough in my career to have been in the boat with a lot of people, and there's that it factor, as it is in all sports. Yep. And I've talked to you about this. There's them guys that have it. And again, I've been in the boat with a lot of pros: Jacob Peraza, Cliff Pace, Nick LeBrun, Justin Cooper, Daryl Gleason. I can go down the line, Hank Cherry. I've been in the boat with them. And there's those guys that have it. And I've been in the boat with a lot of guys that are trying to go pro. And people ask me about him. I was like, he's got it, or you don't quite have it. Yeah. When I tell you Kevin Lasyone has it, he has it. Like when he gets in a boat, he's going to tell you, just like very similar to Nick LeBrun. All right, he looks down at the water's this height, the water's doing this, it's doing this. We're going to go catch him doing this, and you go catch him doing that. Not many guys can do that.
No, and Kevin, again, is one of those guys. If he wanted to go back to that lifestyle again, Kevin, with MLF, he could do it tomorrow with no trouble. And they would probably welcome him with open arms, because they know his reputation. They knew it back when he fished. I knew his reputation. Even on FLW Tour, he was highly thought of. And but again.
Steve, why would he go back? He can make a living. And he has a job. He has a job. He does very well for himself. He can make a living fishing between Sam Rayburn and Toledo Bend.
Yeah, just off what I donate to him.
I guarantee you he has made almost $100,000 this year in tournaments.
At least. And Kevin, he again, like you said, when you see guys back there boating the water, when you see him back his boat in the water at Rayburn or Toledo, you're like, well, man, I'm fishing for second probably. You know, he's just that kind of angler, and he's one of the guys you got to beat. All right, we're going to take one more quick break, and we come back. We got a couple of more new announcements on tournament trails. We'll go over that real quick. You're watching Tackle Talk Live. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for the finest custom-built rods ever made? Then look no further than Pride Rods. Fishing rods built to last and made in Montgomery, Texas. Constructed by Mr. Billy Kistler with the finest Gary Loomis North Fork composite blanks available. They offer a complete line of both spinning and casting rods for both fresh and salt water. Pride Rods do more than pass the eye test. They excel in performance as well. Ask your local tackle dealer if they carry Pride Rods and pick one up and try it for yourself. You'll see why so many anglers are using Pride Rods. To learn more, go to priderods.com or call 832-418-6040. The next time you're headed for Toledo Bend or Sam Rayburn, stop by Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. They have an awesome supply of everything you'll need to catch the big ones. Whether your trip calls for bass fishing, white perch tackle, catfish bait, or the ultimate fighting shiners, Keith's Tackle has you covered. Keith and former Elite Series pro Ben Matsubu also have the latest information on what, how, and where you need to be fishing on Sam Rayburn or the Bend. So for all your tackle needs, check out Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, located just off Highway 21 on the Texas side of Toledo Bend, or call 409-625-0181. The Lakes Insurance Agency is an independent insurance agency that has been taking care of Texans' insurance needs for over 25 years, offering auto, homeowners, boat, RV, life, health, and commercial insurance. Owner Clark Moore is a local guide and tournament angler who understands your insurance needs and wants to be your go-to guy for all your insurance needs. For a free quote, give him a call and see why so many Texans trust the Lake Insurance Agency. Located at 805 Southeast Stalling Suite 3, Nacogdoches, Texas, or call 936-205-4467. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
You're watching Tackle Talk Live. This segment presented by Pride Rods, Keys Toledo Bend Tackle, and the Lakes Insurance of Nacogdoches, Texas. All right, guys. Real quick, Chad Potts has asked us to kind of give you guys a little heads up on the competition for the championship. Competition days are October 14th and 15th. It's at Lake Texoma. Texoma is off limits from September 25th all the way through October the 10th. Official practice days will be October 11th, 12th, and 13th. Only competitors, listen to this, don't get DQ'd because of this. Only competitors are allowed in the boat during official practice days. Now, October 25th and through the October 10th, you can't even be on the lake, so forget it. But if you are practicing 11th, 12th, and 13th, only the competitor can be in the boat with you. Catfish Bay will be the host marina on the Oklahoma side. It will be off limits completely for that fishing, and I'll try to have that. There's some other places that are also off limits. I'll try to have those. You'll know the names when you hear them, but there's like 3 areas that are off limits for this event. All bridges on Texoma are idle only. Don't forget that. You can get a ticket if you're not careful. And again, I will go over the off limits areas next week. I'll have that ready for you. Okay, Kevin. MLF.
The Toyota Series released their schedule, I think, end of the week last week, right after we did our show. The Southwestern Division of the Toyota Series, February 21st through the 23rd is at Sam Rayburn. March 26th through the 28th is Toledo Bend. And then May 16th through 18th is Lake Eufaula in Eufaula, Oklahoma. Steve, really good schedule. I thought, I really like the schedule, the time of the year they are, especially. And then, so the Toyota Championship is on Wheeler Lake, November 7th through the 9th. We finally get one that's a little bit closer. It's not Kentucky, Tennessee, and, on South Carolina, North Carolina. So we finally get one a little closer, Wheeler Lake, which I know a lot of our guys are familiar with.
Yeah, Wheeler connects with Pickwick. You have to lock through. When you lock through, you go into Wheeler from Pickwick. So you're right. It's a little bit closer to our region. I think from here, it's about a 10, 11 hour drive for me to get there. If I remember.
Yeah, with a boat, maybe, somewhere around 9, 10.
Right. And, but you're right. It's definitely a little bit closer than what we've been used to. So, and that, like you said, in Lake Eufaula, Oklahoma, I've been there 2 or 3 times in the last 2 years. And I'm going to tell you right now, I absolutely love going to Eufaula, Oklahoma. It's just a great fishery. It's a great place just to go catch fish. It'll be a very competitive tournament. That's going to be the end of the spawn, tail end of the spawn for sure when they get there. But I'm going to tell you right now, and I have been there twice, when it rains at that place, and if it's storms that come through Oklahoma are a different animal than what we have come through here. And I've been there in some bad ones, and it rose 3.5 feet in 2 days there one time at a tournament. I was there 2 years ago. And I mean, it went from outstanding fishing to a mud hole, but you were still able to catch fish. I mean, it was remarkable how the fish still bit at that place. It's just a really good fishery. And so that'll be a really good event. Bassmaster College Series. It's interesting with what they're doing. They got the Lunkers Trail, which will be coming to our area. It's Clarks Hill Reservoir in Columbia, Georgia. Then you've got Douglas Lake out of Jefferson, Tennessee on March 7th and 8th. And then May 16th and 17th, Sam Rayburn Reservoir. That'll be good for our local colleges and universities, Lamar, Stephen F., Northwestern State, LSUS. And actually, Kevin, I had an opportunity yesterday to interview a team from LSUS. They have become kind of the predominant team in Louisiana right now. They are really kicking tail and taking names up there. They've got a really good fishing program going on at LSUS in Shreveport.
They really do. They do a very good job. The school of pushing that program. I know the coach, he has done a lot of things for that program, and they are really doing well. They're pushing it too. I mean, they are pushing hard. They are recruiting hard. Yes.
And the team I had on yesterday, they were just absolutely outstanding. ambassadors of the sport. I mean, they represented their university extremely well. They're good talkers, and they're really good anglers. And so congratulations to those guys. They just won last week. They won the college series on Sam Rayburn to advance them to the national championship this next year. So congratulations to those guys. The high school, Bassmaster 2024 high school circuit, February 4th, Clarks Hill Reservoir. March 10th, Douglas Lake. And a lot of these are in conjunction with the college trail, Kevin. May 19th, Sam Rayburn Reservoir, which is a couple of days after the college is there. And then June 9th, Saginaw Bay, Michigan. So, boy, I tell you what, these guys are traveling around the country for a high school circuit. I mean, that's getting around, Kevin.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's crazy nowadays what they're doing to college and high school.
Kevin, that's all we've got as far as new circuit.
Yeah.
Now, as far as lake level, I don't have anything in front of me from last week. I didn't get to update that today. But I will say this. Be careful, guys. It's low. I know talking to Kevin Lasyone at length last night on the phone, Sam Rayburn is at that point. It's like 4.5 feet low, and it needs to go down about another foot so that then all your stumps that like for not channel markers, but that line the channels and the creeks, they're exposed and you can kind of run and you can tell where to run, but it's about a foot away from being to that point. He said, you can tear something up over there real quick. And I know a lot of ABA guys over there. And so be careful when you back your boat in the water at Rayburn. Just know where you're at. If you're not sure, it's kind of like Red River. You better idle because you can tear something up real quick over there right now. And Toledo Bend's not quite as bad, Kevin, but it's still low.
Yeah, no, it is. It's not nowhere near what what Sam Rayburn is, but it is still a little low. Steve, this weekend is the Lake Fort, the Sealy Outdoors on Lake Fort.
Yes, you're exactly right. Yep, and of course nobody does it better than Bob Sealy. I mean, that'll be a great event at Lake Fort. And I think the lake's back up. They got water in it, and should be a really good event. And talking to Johnny Geist last week, Johnny said that the fishing has been pretty darn good. That he looks for them to have a whack fest over there. They're starting to come up in the creeks a little bit at Lake Fort, and of course that's the bait fish, and the bass are going to follow them. He looks for it to be a shallow water tournament. He looks for the bass to be shallow with the rain they've been getting. The water's cooled down. Top water bite ought to be really good. So they could have a really good event over there this weekend at Lake Fort, Texas with the Bob Sealy. So good luck to all.
Yeah, good luck to all the guys going up to fish that. I know I got a couple friends over that are headed up, to get ready for that this weekend. So good luck to everybody going over fishing that. We'll get the results and talk a little bit about that next week.
Yep. Kevin, anything else?
I think that does it for today.
Hey, we want to thank Kevin Lasyone for coming on with us and sharing his thoughts and sharing his detailed information about their Choke Canyon event. And I want to thank you for watching us. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Pass the word, share, whatever you got to do. Like us, watch us on YouTube, check us out. Pass the word along that we are. And we're going to be on for at least another month, wrapping up these championships that are going on in September and October. And then we'll take a short break, and then we'll come back in January when everything kicks back off, the first, second week in January. So we'll be back then at that point. Thank you for tuning us in. Please check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, wherever else you listen to podcasts. And if you'd like to become a member of our sponsorship team, please message us on our Facebook page. Kevin will make sure he sends out a detailed packet explaining how to become a member of our sponsorship team. For Kevin Jean, yours truly, Steve Graff. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week with more Tackle Talk Live.